Maybe I should get ready. That's a bit better. Okay, what's the game going to be about? At this point, I'm looking at making it a space game. At this point, I'm thinking of two different ways of doing my game. The one is to do with a story-driven game. The other option is sort of more of a 4X kind of game with RTS elements. A big inspiration for this game is limit theory. So I've been reading through the devlogs for that and getting a lot of inspiration for how I'm going to be doing my game. At the beginning, with the research I was doing, I thought an engine would be a good idea. Unfortunately, with my underpowered computer at the moment, which is a MacBook Pro from 2015, and no graphics card, Godot was way too slow. So I'm going to have to use something a little bit more efficient with my resources, which means I'm going to have to use something a bit more low level, something like C++ and OpenGL raw. I'm going to be coding my own engine. This is probably a bad idea, but I'm going for it. So a lot of my time that I've spent in the last month has been based on the OpenGL tutorial. I've also found a game engine architecture book because I'll be writing my own, so I'm going to need to know a bit more than I know at the moment on how game engines work. I'm not particularly artistic, so we're going to go more with an idea of procedurally generated content. Because I need good procedural content generation in my game, I've decided on a method known as scalar fields and marching cubes, or some variant of that, in order to create content that varies across systems and places that you might visit. This technique basically just uses a bunch of mathematical equations to create all the objects that you'll see in the game. This is everything from the spaceship that you drive, to the planets that you see, to the asteroids, to the starships, to the spaceships. I spent a bunch of this past week working on the marching cubes algorithm, which, while I'm not going to be using the exact marching cubes algorithm, I'll be using some variant of it, and as a result, I need this technology built in from the beginning. So here's my sphere that I created using the marching cubes algorithm. This is some of the work that I've done last week. And it's pretty simple. All it does is actually generate this mesh using the marching cubes algorithm and the formula for a sphere. It just calculates x squared plus y squared plus z squared minus r squared. If it's greater than 0, then it's inside the sphere. If it's less than 0, it's outside the sphere. And that's how I generated this. There's no manual creation of the triangles. All of this is automatically based on that particular formula. There's about 100 by 100 by 100 resolution in terms of what the smallest detail is that it can capture of this equation. Most of the lighting here was copied from the OpenGL tutorial and the mesh display stuff, but the mesh generation itself, that's actually all the code that I wrote this week. And I think that's a wrap. Thank you for watching.